What is up, potato chips? Welcome back to ciNATEmatic. You have many choices in online film critics and movie fans, so thank you for choosing me. It is real. After 15 years, I just got back from seeing Tron Ares. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new Tron film, and it is in theaters right now, and it is really good. Now, I have had my doubts, and I have been skeptical, as you can see from past videos that I've made, but I've always been hopeful and I've always wanted this film to succeed. Most of my complaints and worries were that it wouldn't respect what came before it, and it wouldn't tie the legacy. Those worries are no more. From the moment that I sat down and it came on with mind-blowing CGI that pushes it even further than Legacy, accompanied by an insane techno soundtrack by 9 Inch Nails, most of those worries flew off, and then they eventually just all went away. The cinematography in this film is much more professional than anything that Disney has put out in a long time. And the writing for each character is actually layered, and they have flaws as well as personal motives that drive these characters that you can feel for and root for. The visuals, whether it be the Dillinger grid, the Incom grid, or even just establishing shots of the real world, they all look so good and are in line with the cinematography in Tron Legacy. Especially, and this is a spoiler here, I will be talking about spoilers if I have not said that already, so you have been warned. There's a shot at the end of Flynn's arcade. It looks straight out of Legacy. Now, if you were like me, you were probably worried that they were going to do character assassination to Sam Flynn. That is not the case. This film opens up with that iconic storytelling scene in the blue void that we got from Legacy, but catching us up from what has happened since the 80s to even further than where Legacy was at to now. In this scene, they do explain that Incom fell on hard times, and they explain what has been happening between Incom and Dillinger Corporation. But the reasons for Sam Flynn's disappearance is left under resigning for personal reasons. That leaves it vague enough to where they did not ruin anything, in my opinion. And it leaves it mysterious enough, just like Kevin Flynn's disappearance in Legacy. As for the main story of this film, we follow Eve Kim, who is the new CEO of Incom, and we follow Julian Dillinger, who is the new head of Dillinger Corporation, as they both battle for ownership of the Permanence Code, something that will revolutionize tech for good or for bad. Dillinger wants it for the latter, whereas Eve Kim wants it to change the world, just like Korra's DNA was supposed to do. Now, eventually, Eve tracks down where her sister used to hang out and finds within piles of her research the Permanence Code on a floppy disk. As to how Tess, Eve's sister, got a hold of this, I'm not quite sure, but regardless, I'm glad she did. Now, there's also another layer to Eve, which is her personal motive, as I was saying, whereas before the events of Tron Ares, she lost her sister, and basically finding this Permanence Code is her way of coping and also completing her sister's research. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, we have Ares, who is at the beck and call of Julian Dillinger. He craves permanence and the ability to live his life, but Julian is constantly threatening and belittling him. Julian bites off a bit more than he can chew and is absolutely overrun with the desire to get the Permanence Code. So much so that he tells Ares to track down Eve in this huge, phenomenal chase sequence of light cycles in the real world in the New York City streets. The vibrant neon red is glorious to see in the dark, wet streets of New York City. And the chase sequence isn't just your average chase sequence. It has your typical action tension, but it also has this unique form that I've never really seen in a movie before, because there is a scene where Eve is being chased by Athena, who is another program from the Dillinger grid, and Eve, who's on a normal motorcycle, is being chased all the way into this car garage. At one point, she is at the top of the car garage and knocks out Athena, sending her flying all the way down to the bottom of that parking garage. But now, Eve's bike is totaled, and as Eve looks over the edge to look back down at Athena, Athena is running up each level of that car garage after Eve, as Eve attempts to get the light cycle that Athena crashed off of to work. And you get this shot of Eve at the top of the parking garage and Athena continuing to run through the circular levels right underneath her, and it's just on the edge of your seat type stuff, the way that the shot is orchestrated. Also, when we get to see inside of the Incom building, we get that iconic shot of the servers from Legacy, but pushed even further as the camera flies through the servers and then into a portal, taking us into the Incom grid. After the chase sequence, since Eve has found the Permanence Code, and this is what Julian Dillinger is after, he uses a portal gun as a last-ditch effort to shoot Eve into the Dillinger grid. But before so, she had abandoned the Permanence Code in hopes of it not getting into the wrong hands. But while inside the Dillinger grid, it is revealed that they can hack her memory to get the Permanence Code that she had seen. But if they do so, she could be derezzed. So in other words, they're playing with actual murder here. And Julian Dillinger instructs Ares to follow his commands. Ares then goes rogue he and Eve team up and make a deal that if he gets her to the portal and out into the real world, she'll give him the permanence code so he can live just like he's always wanted. This takes them on a wild journey where Eve and Ares become quite close, and he helps her kind of look into herself and overcome some of her depression and trauma of losing her sister, and she teaches him basically what it's like to live. And this leads to Ares being injected into the original 1982 grid, where he meets the one and only Jeff Bridges in this unique digital version of Kevin Flynn, who has just enough mystery to keep you questioning, is that actually him or is that some digital likeness? Digital Kevin Flynn and Ares have a heart-to-heart, and Ares is rewarded with the permanence code. Meanwhile, Eve is still in danger in the real world as Athena has now become the master control program and is right on Eve's trail. Ares comes back just in time and saves the day, as the team at Incom nuke the Dillinger grid through hacking and save the world from Dillinger destruction. Eve is safe, Ares gets to live, and the Dillingers are defeated. Or, so we thought. The first two are true, but Julian, in a last-ditch effort to get away from the cops, injects himself into his grid that has been destroyed. But once he's inside, thanks to an after-credit scene, we get to see that the world is in waste and is slowly rebooting itself as an identity disc pops up. He grabs this identity disc and is transformed into Sark from the original film, which leaves many questions, as well as Ares' cliffhanger. We see him living his life happily and talking about other programs just like him, as he's looking at a picture of Cora from Tron Legacy, with words written upon this photograph of her last seen date. So now Ares is in pursuit of her, and presumably Flynn, because from what we've seen earlier, they are still seemingly together. So this film's narrative goes insane. It leaves just enough respect for what came before it, while also elevating it to new and exciting heights. Some of the shots this film does are quite inventive and unique as well, especially during the chase sequence. We get shots from the peripheral of their eyes, as if we are the helmet almost. Also, the opening title shot where we travel through the O in Tron was really fun to see, especially in 3D. Also, this one had brand new ways of using CGI, like the 3D printing sequences were really fun to watch unfold when they would take the programs and the vehicles from the Dillinger grid and put them into the real world. That was really a creative way to use CGI that pushes how CGI has been used before in this franchise. And this franchise is known for pushing the boundaries on CGI. I honestly am very surprised at this film's quality, and I really hope that we get to see the sequel that this one is setting up. If you're on the fence about this film, I really highly suggest seeing it, as it respects what came before it, its direction is unique, new, and visually stunning, and its soundtrack is wonderful. All in all, Tron Ares is a great sequel, and it has great characters, and it's a worthy and fun installment in this franchise. As for theories of where it is that we meet digital Kevin Flynn, it is pretty obvious that this is what happened to the Legacy grid, considering where it spits out Ares is the same place that it spat out Sam, which is something that I noticed and is interesting to think about. But what are your guys' thoughts on Tron Ares? Do you plan on seeing it? Have you seen it yet? Make sure to let me know in the comments below, as I look forward to hearing what you think. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like and follow button, as there are more headed your way, and it really does help the channel. And as always, thank you for watching ciNATEmatic.